it's Dianne at Minerva. I hope you're all having a fabulous week. And today I'd like to share a make with you. It's this fabulous new look pattern and this really useful top here in the middle. So we're making version A right here, but as you can see there are lots of variations on shoulder, sleeveless or neck line. So they're all ever so slightly different. So we have a sort of boat neck, a round neck, squared off neckline here, and the shoulders stop at different points. So it's really nice for suiting your body shape, because shoulder and neckline can make a real big difference on how you look. And I think this is a really good idea to try out the different styles and see which is your perfect top, because I have found that certain styles suit me better and certain necklines suit me better than others as well. So today we're going to be making the basic tee here in the centre, and what we're going to be using today is this fabulous Minerva exclusive range viscose challis, and this one is called Fairground. Now again, this fabric comes in 7 colour palettes, so you're bound to find one that is just right for you. It's 150 centimetres wide, it's light to medium, it's 100% viscose, it has a really nice drape to it, so I think it's going to be perfect for this kind of summer top. I also think it's really useful if you want to layer it up with cardigans and long sleeve t-shirts underneath it in the cooler months, so you can have a play around with your styling. Now if you'd like to sew along with me today, I'm going to link all the products in the description below, but what you really need to watch out for is the new look pattern, the viscose challis. Now if you don't want to go for Fairground, you could choose one of the other styles, so please do go ahead and have a look, see what's best for you. You might prefer a different colour. And also a matching thread. Now I will link in a button, because you'll need a button for the back of the neck, but you can use one you already have, and also some interfacing. Now also I will be linking some of our wonderful Minerva Maker labels, and these say hashtag Minerva Maker on the back. These are really fun for adding that extra special touch to all your handmade clothes. Now before we begin, you want to make sure that you wash and prepare your fabric as you would normally, so that you're all ready to go and you don't have any shrinkage later on. And then when you've done this, you want to take your pattern and a tape measure and locate the sizing on the back. Don't just go for your standard dress size, and it's always best to measure again before you start a new project, just to make sure we get that perfect fit. Then when we've done that, we're going to go and cut for version A, but if you would like to follow along with any of the other versions, just remember to stop at the appropriate step. So that will be leaving off the sleeve, and also you'll have a slightly different neckline. Now while you're here, why not take a look at the Minerva Craft Club? With the Minerva Craft Club, you'll get 10% off all your orders for a whole year, and that will include anything that you buy with us today. And we'd also love it if you create a free account, because with a free account you can join in our wonderful sewing community. You can connect with like-minded sewers from all over the world and share all your projects, ideas and inspiration in one place. It's a really good place to share your sewing hobby, and I enjoy sharing all my makes on there. Now let's go and cut our pattern pieces. And we're cutting for version A, as I said. Let's go and do that now. So here we have our pattern pieces. So this is the back piece for A and B, and we're going to cut 2 pieces, and this is the straight grain. Make a note of the notches and the circles. This line here is where you lengthen or shorten, and this here is the waistline. Now on this particular pattern there is a 5/8 of an inch hem allowed, or 1.5 centimetres. Here we have our front piece for A and B. This time you're going to cut 1 piece on the fold. Here is your centre fold. Again, make a note of your notches and your circles, and on this piece also the bust dart here. Again, lengthen or shorten at this point. And make sure you know these circles here, these are for the side vents. Here we have our sleeve piece for version A. You're going to cut 2 pieces. This is your straight grain this way. Make a note of your circles and your notches. These circles here, we're going to do a line of ease stitching between these, so make sure that you note those, and this one for the shoulder centre point at this point here. There is a 4 centimetre hem allowed on the sleeve, and make sure you note the side notches. Here we have the facing pieces. This is the back facing piece. You're going to cut 2 of fabric and 2 of interfacing. Note the notches and the circles, and this is the straight grain. This is the front facing, and this one is cut on the fold. This is the fold of the fabric. Cut 1 on the fold of fabric and 1 on the fold of interfacing. So now we're ready to begin making our top. First of all, you want to wind half of your thread onto your spool. When you've done that, check your machine needle is sharp. I'm using a universal size 70 needle today. You might want to test it on a little piece of scrap fabric before you begin to see what works best for you. And then when we've done this, we're ready to begin our stay stitching. So you want to take your front piece first of all, and we're going to do our stay stitching around the neck edge. Now you're working from the shoulder towards the centre. So start at each side, work towards the centre, and then go to the other side and work towards the centre. You always work in the direction of the arrows. So we're going to do that first of all, and we're also going to do it on our back neck edge as well. So your stay stitching is 1.3 centimetres from the cut edge, back tack to begin, and again, as I said, working towards the centre. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to turn it over and then work from the opposite shoulder. Now I'm going to create my darts in my front piece. So here is my front piece, and this is the wrong side. So I have a pin here and here. That is so that you can clearly see where the point of my dart will be. And then at the side here I have my marking. So we're going to pinch those together, and we're working towards this point here. So we're working in a gradual V. So starting at the outside, working in a V shape, coming to a point here. And we don't want to go off too suddenly, so make sure that's nice and gradual. Here's my point. Run off, and you want to knot your threads at this point. So you're going to knot it, and you're going to push that knot down towards the dart. You might get all fingers and thumbs like I've just done, so I'm going to do that again. There, that's better. And then you can snip just above it. Now you can press that dart downwards and repeat on the other side. Now we are going to join our 2 back pieces together. Now I've overlocked across the top of my shoulders and also down the centre back. Now I allowed an extra couple of millimetres just for trimming off this amount. So if you're going to be overlocking, please make sure that you allow within your seam allowance, otherwise make your seam allowance smaller. So it is a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. Bring your back pieces together, and we have this marking here, and this is where our back vent is. So we're going to stitch from here down the back, and you are also matching these 3 notches here at the centre back. Back tack to begin. Now we're going to place our back piece on top of our front piece with right sides facing, and we're going to join at the shoulder seam here. So pin it in place first of all. and on this side. Match up your notches at the shoulder. Again, it's a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. Now we're joining our facings. So apply your interfacing on the wrong side, then place them out like this. This is your shoulder seam here, and you're matching the notches here and here. So this is going to be flipped over and this will be joined here. So line up these notches, and then the same on this side. Stitch that in place. When you've done this on both sides, you can finish your outer edge here by either overlocking or doing a small turned under hem. Now we're going to attach our neck facing to our neck. So fold your neck in half, bringing the shoulders together, and make a little snip just here, and then do the same on your facing piece. Fold it in half, bring your shoulders together and snip it halfway around. This makes sure that you find exactly the centre of front point of both your neck and your neck facing. When you've done that, you can line those up and pin it in position at that point. Then line up your shoulder points, sort of finger press open your seams so that they line up, and pin them there, and at the other side as well. Make sure that that seam's lying flat. Then once you have that in place, you can pin it the rest of the way. And then also down that centre back. Now you do have a notch here, look. You've got a notch there and there. So you need to make sure that you line those up. Now you are going to pin it down this back, but you need to decide what kind of closure that you're going to do at this neck point here. So I'm going to include in the description some hat elastic, because I find that that is really good for having a button loop here, or you could alternatively do a button hole loop with some embroidery thread or a little piece of scrap fabric from this, just make a little loop. So I'm going to do it with the hat elastic, so I'll show you that now. So just loosely pin this and decide where your loop is going to go. And we're going to stitch down this back point here. So your centre back facings here, you have a little circle just here, little marking. We're going to stitch and back tack here down to the bottom. So this is the hat elastic that I use, and once you have some of this, it's quite handy for making the loops. It'll last you quite a long time. So you just cut a small amount. So how much is that? Let's see. So I've cut 5 centimetres there. We don't need that much, but that's going to be in the seam. So it's good to have quite a bit go inside the seam to stitch over. I'm just going to fold it like this, and it's just going to be stitched down inside. Now it wants to be this way, like this, and the seam over it, and you're going to back tack quite a lot of times there, quite a number of times to make sure it's secure. And I'm using just one of these shank buttons like this, and this one is 1 centimetre. So I will link those below also, but you could also use whatever you have. You may have some odd buttons like this at home already. And you just want to make sure that it'll slip over it, but it's not too loose. So just check that, just check your button in your loop to make sure it's not going to be too loose, because it is elasticated, so it will fit over that nicely. We're going to stitch that in place now. Now we're going to stitch all around our neckline and facing. So we're coming up this back centre first of all, and you're going to catch in again that loop that you've made for your button. Again, you're going to go over it again as you come round. Press your seam towards your facing with your fingers and understitch around the neckline as far as you can up to the edge. I've just added my Minerva maker label here to one side of the back vent. You may wish to put yours in the side seam. Decide which is the best place for you. Now we're sewing down our side seams. So we start at our underarm, match up our notches, and we're stitching down to this marking here at the bottom. So I've got a pin here, and we're going to back tag at this point because this is going to be where we square it off with some top stitching, and we're going to have a small vent here. Now we're going to do a line of ease stitching around the top of each of our sleeves. So we're working from this point here, all around the top to here. And we're going to leave the thread running free so that we can pull on it. So the underarm seams of your sleeves. With your top the wrong way around and your sleeves the right way around, we're going to insert the sleeve. Now you can hem the sleeve before you begin if you wish. I'm going to do mine after. You may wish to try it on first and see which is the best length of sleeve for you. It is a 4 cm hem on this sleeve. So I've turned my sleeve the right way around, and now we're going to place it inside. Now you'll know if you have the right one because of your notches. So here we have 2 and here we have 2. So we know we have the right sleeve. So with right sides facing look, we have 2 notches matching 2 notches here. So add a pin, match up your underarm seam here, open up that seam with your fingers, press it flat. And then we have 1 notch here. So my raw edges here, I tend to keep them like this until I've added my sleeve. So I do sometimes finish my edges on my other seams, but I always leave the sleeve ones where the sleeve joins the top till after I've placed it in with my regular machine stitch, and then when I'm happy with it that it's all lying flat, then I will overlock off the excess. So you might wish to do this or trim a little away and zigzag after you've finished. Now match up this central point here with the shoulder seam before pulling on your ease stitching. So if we open that up there, add a pin, then we can pull on these stitches to ease in the rest of it. Just smooth those out and finish pinning the rest of the way around. So I do one side first of all, and then I pull on the other side. And then I ease this in the rest of the way. around the bottom of your top, making sure that you pin and square off your vents here and here. Try on and decide on your sleeve length. Now I've decided to do a double fold on the sleeve hems here. So I've turned it under, look, and I'm turning it under again. So this is my hem. So you might wish to overlock or zigzag stitch at the bottom of yours, or you might want to do a double fold like I'm doing. Well, I hope you've enjoyed sewing along with me today. I've certainly enjoyed making this top. Why not try it in a sandwash silk or maybe a gingham fabric? I think that would look really nice. And there are lots of ways that you can play around with the styling on this one, with the necklines and the shoulder details and so on. So a nice simple pattern, but lots of ways to change it up using fabrics and trying up the other options. So we would love to see what you've been making, so please let us know in the comments below along with any photographs. And remember, you can ask any questions and we will do our best to help you in any way we can. Now, if you're interested in an additional make today and you like what I'm wearing, this particular fabric is Bubble Shoal and it's one of our Minerva exclusive range sweater knits. And it's a simplicity pattern 9385. And I will link those products below also in case you're interested in making this. Thank you so much for watching today and I hope to be back soon. Bye for now.